The California Teachers Association, CTA, and the Institute for Teaching, IFT, present IFT Expo 2015, a series of presentations by IFT grant recipients.
Hi everyone, my name's Ashley Cooper and I am part of the teacher leadership cohort. So I got involved with IFT just going around and talking about the wonderful project that we did with the teacher leadership cohort. And if you're not familiar with it, it's a great way for teachers who want to connect in with CTA and really hone in on a project that they've always wanted to do, but didn't have the resources or the connections with the support to be able to implement that. So I didn't really know what I was doing getting involved with the teacher leadership cohort. I wasn't quite sure, not reading the fine print on you will develop a project, but as soon as I heard about it, I was ready to, hit the road running full speed, and it was going to be Common Core based. And then I said, I teach science. I was going to wait for next generation science standards, so what am I going to do? Where's my area of expertise that is going to help other teachers either in my district, in California, and throughout? And lucky for us, we were introduced to this book, Professional Capital, and you can see that mine has seen better days. I take it most conferences I go to and take any chance I can get to talk to everyone about it. We did read it, and I said, finally, a book that talks to teachers, a book that meets me where I'm at in my classroom. It's not over my head because it's all just data. Being a science teacher, I'm used to data, but most of the educational research is written so only a select few group of this fraternity of researchers can really understand. This book takes that research and puts it in a quick, easy way for us to read and go, that's where I'm at. That's what happens to me every day. How do they know what I'm feeling, and what do I do about it? Because there's not many of us that go to school every day and go, you know what? It is perfect. My room, it is great. All 38 kids in my room, they're great. Everyone in my department, amazing. Okay, and so this book teaches kind of the tools of the trade and some really data-driven research to help us to come up with solutions and implement those changes. And I said, what a better way than CTA to implement those changes? So there's a handout on your tables. So if you want to take a look at it, it will guide us through our little talk. And to be honest with you, and I know not many teachers are going to profess this publicly, but I'm not a super big reader, okay? I know how to read, don't get me wrong, okay? But with all the other things that we do, by the time I get home and have quiet time, I'm usually fast asleep on my pillow. So for me to read this book many times, you know it's going to be good. So I gave you this handout partly because all of us get really excited about conferences. We go back to our classrooms on Monday and go, I know I was really motivated, but what was it again? Why was it? Let me sort through the papers that the sub left or the makeup work the kids put on my desk when I was gone. But I wanted you to have some sort of resource to remember me by. The main premise behind Professional Capital is talking about what makes an effective teacher, and not only a teacher, what makes an effective education model. And it doesn't just focus here in the United States. The researchers, or the authors, Andy Hargraves or Michael Fullen, tap into worldwide samples and models. So it's not just a small petri dish here in California or the United States. It looks at what works and what doesn't worldwide. And unfortunately, most of the time, as a whole, the United States, we're on the maybe it doesn't work, but that's where this book comes in. It gives great, easy to implement, teacher-driven change, which is probably why IFT grabbed a hold of this and said, aha, that's what we're looking for. This fits right in with what we're doing. So professional capital is real simple. Even being a science teacher, I can figure out this equation. Professional capital equals human capital. That's us. It's who we are. It's the experiences we have. We made a choice to leave our classrooms today, and it's hard to prep for a sub and to get here and travel here, but it's us making that choice to go and invest in ourselves, continually grow. And it's our education and anything that we do to continue to gather up knowledge. Our social capital is what we're going to do the rest of this weekend. It's what we're going to do at the Expo later. It's the time that we get to talk back and forth. It's the time that we work with our departmental colleagues. It's the time when we work in our vertical teams for whichever age group that you work with. But it's what do we do together? How do we grow our human capital between each other? And obviously, as hard as it is in our busy schedules, that's what the research says, is that's where we're most effective, is when we take our collective experiences and bring them together for the same cause. And the last one's decisional capital. It's what we do every day. It's the experiences we have that shape our effectiveness in the classroom, our decision-making skills. I am way different, thank goodness, today, 15 years later, than I was on day one. Okay, so it's interesting to see, as you know, I currently have a student teacher in my classroom. Hey, what are they doing? It's their first time lecturing. Oh, they were so nervous. You know, so we talked about it. Where will they be in 10 or 15 years? So that's our decisional capital. You put all of that together, and that's your professional capital. That makes you who you are each and every day. In the book, if you don't have time to read the whole book, Chapter 5 and Chapter 7 is what I've talked to all of my colleagues about. Chapter 5 was what I, in a nutshell, just shared with you. What is professional capital? And then Chapter 7 is enacting change. That's awesome. We all want to get better on a daily basis. And so what are some things that we can do in our classroom, on our site, our districts, counties, here at the state level with CTA to improve? And it's real simple. It's teacher language. It's something that any one of us can pick up, talk to a colleague, say, hey, have you read this book? What do you think about it? I wanted to maybe alter this, or I have a program that I think would really improve student learning. What do you say we get in on this together? The best part is administrators aren't super intimidated by the book. A lot of times we get some books and teachers, yeah, it's our rallying cry, and administrators back off and say, whoa, that's you against us. We've had administrators read the book. They're on board with it. They like what we're doing. If you turn over to the back, guidelines for teacher enacted change, and that's what I wanted you guys to quickly read over and think about there's a list of 10 of them. What of those guidelines speaks to you? What makes you, what can you incorporate in your role on your campus, in your district, that would help you enact whatever change it might be? That's my one experience with CTA. I realized that even though we're all teachers, our day-to-day experiences are so vastly different. From the districts we're in, to the grade levels, to the classrooms, the haves and the have-nots of school districts, classrooms. So this list of teacher leadership, it's all gonna be different, but my challenge to you is find which one is going to meet your skill set, your situation, and see what is gonna be most effective to you. And then I had a couple questions that I would then, if we had more time, go in and talk to you about and see what is your plan. What is your implementation plan, your action plan of how can you basically soak all this in? Sure, we know what professional capital is now. Yes, I've got a partner in crime that's going to help me, on a day-to-day charge. So when, we get worn down, we get tired out, we're still going to be able to move forward. So that's for you to reflect on. You go back and you go, what was that? There was something I knew I was going to do. I wanted to read. This is, that's the book for you, and there's some points to consider. But like I said, back with my teacher leadership cohort project, I wanted to get my colleagues excited about the book. I made a book guide, reading guide, and I thought, you know what? That's really boring. No one wants to do that. We wouldn't do that to our students. So I developed an online course that would take them through the process. And what's really exciting, I'll get to this in 1 second here, is being able to see my district, my local association, and CTA's logos all on the same page, because it was finally one thing we all agreed about. And that doesn't happen very often. And so we wanted to support teachers improving their experiences and, of course, improving student learning. And what I did is I developed a way for us in our busy lives to be able to not only read the book, but be able to work together, collaborate, discuss different parts of it. So for each chapter, I made some questions and said, hey, tell me what you're thinking. That's with the question marks. And then, I'm sorry, that's the surveys. And then with the bubbles, the conversation bubbles, is we got to talk back and forth. And the amazing part is, the people who never spoke up at faculty meetings or committee meetings were finally talking. And man, they had a lot to say. So just consider, if you're going to try to implement some sort of collaboration or program on your campus, in your district, maybe online's the format for you. I did it with the book Professional Capital, and that sparked a lot of interest. But whatever it is, you may want to go online. It fits in our busy schedules and allows those that don't normally speak up for whatever reason to have an equal voice behind their computer screen. And the conversations we had through this project were the most rich professional development that I've ever had the opportunity to be in. So if you're interested, you can talk to me down at the Expo. I'd be more than happy to talk to you. The course is already written. I just sent it over to the Washington Educators Association, and it's amazing. So it's going across the state, and NEA Teacher Academy is going to pick it up as well. So CTA is making a great change, and thanks for listening, and I hope it can spark some interest in making a change. Okay.
Learn more about the Institute for Teaching and its commitment to strength-based teacher-driven change at www.teacherdrivenchange.org and follow us on Twitter at CTAIFT.